Hey guys, today is day 29 of the Gratitude Jam, and today I'm very thankful for the unknown. I know most of us, we don't like the unknown, right? We like things to be predictable. We want life to proceed in a orderly fashion. We want to know what will happen in the future. If you think about it, a lot of times, when we go through the day, we spend a huge chunk of time consciously and unconsciously just focusing on the future, focusing, thinking about what will happen, how will it happen, when will it happen, right? So we want things to be predictable and we want to know where we will end up in 5 years and 10 years. And that's all a natural part of life, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you think about it, oftentimes it's the unpredictability that really lead to your highest growth. And because there are certain things you probably wouldn't have done if you had known how it will turn out, right? So, for example, you started dating someone, and if you had known that in 5 years you would have a very painful breakup with this person, would you have dated that person? A lot of people, a lot of us, probably not, right? But I think it's certainly true for me. It's like it's in those very stressful situations, very challenging situations, including, things like breakup or losing a job or losing a family member. In those situations, it really inspires the highest growth in you. Because, people will rarely grow in peaceful times, right? If things are going so well, you are every day, you're a happy camper, there's not much to learn, right? So you like it or not, the biggest part of growth happens when there is pressure, when there is stress, when things are not going exactly the way you want them to be. And it's exactly because of those situations that you are the person you are today. And I'm sure you are, stronger and wiser and, a more beautiful person than maybe where you were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So if you think about what happened during that 10, 15 years, if that 10, 15 years had been, a walk in the park, you wouldn't have been the person you are today. So what I'm trying to tell you is, yes, we don't like uncertainties, and we think uncertainties are bad. We try to get rid of them, but it's because of the unknown that made us make choices that actually lead to the highest growth. And that happens most of the time, actually, right? So I just gave you the example of the relationship. And there's their example. I'm going through this right now. So I decided to leave my job and start a company and become an entrepreneur, right? Because I like to create things and I want my creation to be useful to someone, right? So when I started out, I knew that, entrepreneurship was not easy, right? So, but that was like a conceptual understanding, right? So when I actually, walked into the trenches and started working on projects day to day, and I started to realize, oh my God, this is really hard, right? So if I had known that, it would be so hard at the time that I started out, well, I wouldn't say that I would not do it, but at least, certain part of me will feel very, very intimidated. I probably would have made that choice, with a lot more hesitation, right? So this is related to, sometimes you hear people tell you that, you should follow your inspirations and you should follow your heart and follow what you love. And I think I talked about this in one of the gratitude gym videos just a few days ago. But the thing is, when you follow your inspiration, it doesn't mean that it will always lead to rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes if you follow your inspiration, first of all, it's very hard, right? And then once you actually are doing that, you oftentimes realize, oh, I'm following my inspiration, but things are still not easy, right? So the purpose of following your inspiration, to me, is not it's not a path to get rich fast or get famous fast or get to, whatever your ego wants in the fastest way. It's really the path that's always leading to your highest growth as a human being and also on a soul level. So it's really because of the unknown that, our human self is sort of like tricked into walking the path that we are supposed to walk that leads to our highest destiny. Because that path is not always easy, right? And the small human you, the small human me, oftentimes, if left by our own discretion with perfect foresight, we probably wouldn't have made that kind of choices, which would be a pity because that means no growth, right? So that's why today I'm very, very thankful for the unknown. And I want to remind you of this truth, which is that it is the unknown that oftentimes lead to your highest growth, whether you want it that way or not. So when you feel frustrated that, you don't know how things will turn out, or maybe you're stressed about the future and, you're anxious about, what the outcome would be for, certain projects or for a relationship, for any kind of situations, I want you to, at least to remember that there is a lot of wisdom in the unknown. And if you don't know something, rest assured that you are not supposed to know right now. Because, there is a lot of magic in the unknown. It is like when we following our inspiration, even when things are unknown, even when things are uncertain, that always leads to the highest growth, that always leads to the highest expansion of your soul. So this is day 29 of the Gratitude Gym. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends. I'll see you tomorrow.